Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folarin. My guest this morning, Dr. Jide Johnson, Deputy Provost, NIJ, as well as Mr. Enitan Olukotun, who's a journalist and political affairs analyst. He's in particular with The Nation, right?
No, Complete News, formerly with The Nation.
Okay, formerly with The Nation, a journalist nevertheless. We're very glad to have you on board. Thank you very much for coming on, sirs. A couple of days ago, a group of Nigerians, they protested at the National Assembly, and it was all about this whole, they brought back the whole, shall we say, conversation, if not debate, on constituency projects. It was felt that we weren't getting value, weren't getting our money's worth, and it was about time that it be scrapped. Now, what is a constituency project? We'll come to that, but in the meantime, that's their side of the issue. The Deputy Senate President, Senator Ekweremadu, is reported to have said that it was an embarrassing protest. Embarrassing because he didn't see the merit. People of good conscience knew that there is benefit to this whole constituency project affair. He accepted that there might be abuses here and there, but that by and large, there was much benefit to the people. And he even went as far as saying that it was embarrassing because it reflected poverty and joblessness. Even saying that, stating that people were paid somewhere in the region of between 500 and 1,500 to come and become a protester, contract protesters, he said. So yeah, he's knocked it down. But there are these two sides to the coin. And by the way, Lagos, the state of excellence, is thought to be, it is Lagos State, the Lagos State House of Assembly that gave us, and us in Nigeria, this whole constituency project affair when they enacted a law back in 2000, establishing it, and it was supposed to be for the whole business of social, putting projects, social, that would benefit us socially, in all constituencies across the land. You know the rest of the details, but those are the very, very broad strokes of this whole matter. Dr. Johnson, what do you see any merit in those that are protesting that it's about time we scrapped the constituency projects?
Rally, public protest, holding opinion and giving expression to opinion, citizen engagement are all components of democratic society.
That's right.
We've seen in developed democracy whereby people come out to protest against government policy without being hindered by the police, without not having any recourse to collect police permit before they could hold their rally. We saw how a one-woman protest and how the security agencies were quick at stopping that protest. Then we saw another protest this week where the security agencies were bystanders in the protest. Protest is a component part of democracy, and we must allow it to thrive because majority will have their way, the minority must surely have their say. That is a critical component part of democracy. So I support protest, I support public rally, I support open, without recourse to violence, open display of dissatisfaction with government policies, programs, and the rest of it. So kudos to those that went to the National Assembly to protest. However, Nigeria, we don't have the democracy. What we have is civilian administration because there's no transparency as to what organs, ministries, departments, and agencies of government are spending. Nobody knows. For instance, there are issues of security all across the state of the Federation. Nobody knows how much the governors are spending on security vote. Nobody knows how much. We only have a snippet of what the legislature, one of the organs, what are the other allowances that other organs of government are collecting that we don't know? So there is the need for us to have transparency. There's the need for accountability for every organs of government, the legislature, the executive, and to give an account of how they spend our money.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Dr. Johnson. What Dr. Johnson ended on, this whole matter of transparency, is at the root of the protests and those who are charging that we're not getting our money's worth. To be fair, there are, scholarly, submissions on the matter. It is thought that the legislators, when they come up with these constituency projects, also influence those that will execute the projects. Although one has to quickly say that the awarding of the contracts to contractors lies entirely with the executive, and it is in their interest to, go ahead and oversee this whole matter. So this whole matter of, it is probably thought that there is not sufficient accountability, and that it is benefiting some of them because it's just another way, to corner funds, the perhaps wicked criticism will say, because those who, the National Assembly no doubt will be looking at it from the point of view of those who never see anything good or anything that we do anything good, that would be their perspective. But when you look at the matter of the fact that the executive still gives out those contracts, so a National Assemblyman can't say, in my constituency, I want this bridge, I want this borehole, I want this sewing machine, even raw cash. These are all the kind of ways in which so-called constituency projects have been disbursed in the past, that, these are the guys who are going to do it. What's your thought on this whole question of the irrelevance or rightness of the constituency projects?
Well, if you look at it very well, I don't think there is anything wrong in constituency projects because by and large, it will have a positive impact on the lives of people at the grassroots. However,
but it's supposed to. It's
yes,
supposed to.
Of course. But unfortunately, what we have seen over the years, are projects that are not really sustainable, projects that are not quite impactful on the life of people at the grassroots. Let me give you an example. If you go around, you will see all these big boreholes, especially federal constituency projects and what have you. So if you see those boreholes, tell me, at most, they can operate for, let's say, 1 or 2 months, and the whole thing will break down. You will see solar panel, installation of solar panel street lights, that you don't have the component maintenance in place. Once you just come and fix it, you don't have all those things in place in terms of the expertise and the manpower. Everything is not there. So at the end of the day, the entire money will actually go down the drains. Now let's not talk about the issue of transparency, that is causing the entire bohara. Because if you look at it, there's nobody in his right mind that will oppose development. By and large, if you say, okay, we are bringing anything to your community and all that, it will benefit the people. But however, most of these monies, though the executive is the one allocating, giving out this contract, but in most cases, the legislators have impact. They have influence on who gets the contract. So that is that is the nexus. The executive will say they will put it in the budget that we want this, I want this in my constituency and all that, and once it is approved, most cases, the lawmaker will be the one to say, no, I prefer this, this contractor to come and deliver this project. And most often, most of those projects are non-existent.
So there's something of a conflict of interest in terms of trying to be trying to have oversight.
Exactly. And what happened is that is because of the political exigency. The lawmakers who they are politicians, they want to be seen, working or doing 1 or 2 things. So there's a way you can do this, even if you want to give them some political, value, political relevance at their own base. However, everything ought to be very open. Because even if you look at their take-home, it was another Third World War, if I should put it that way, for the people, the CSO to know, the exact amount the lawmakers are earning. It took the lives of Shehu Sani to come out to tell us that, okay, we are earning 13.5 million naira per month and all that.
Yes, but those points, Dr. Johnson, yeah, they're emotional, they're important. When it comes back to the benefit to the society, so they argue in the National Assembly, and as has been argued by Anita, that look, nobody will say no to a good thing. The issue, I think, is the lack of proper administration
It's the
of
structure.
the structure of the entire thing. He talked about those ones being abandoned. I think I read a paper that Dogara, the Honorable Speaker, presented at one time, where work needs to be done on those projects that will outlast the particular legislator. Either the man doesn't come back or whatever, and it's been started. Those are the things that need to be tightened up, but not throw the thing out wholesale.
You know, the novelty behind constituency project is to ensure that every federal constituency, every senatorial district has a semblance of a take of the national budget in terms of the spread of. However, it's been abused.
Yeah.
Abused in the sense that it is not the function of the legislature to execute project. However, it is for them to legislate for project, because the budget is a law. Is the annual appropriation bill is a law. It's for them to legislate that this particular financial year, this project will be done in 109 senatorial districts and 360 federal constituencies. That is the essence.
Yes.
However, in Nigeria, because there's no structure, it is subject to abuse. It is subject to abuse. As a result of that, the legislature are doing the function of the executive.
Exactly.
And the executive are doing the function of the legislature. And then we have both at loggerheads.
How is the executive doing the function of the legislature?
Six executive orders have been signed this year. 6 executive orders.
Okay.
6 executive orders have been signed. Executive orders are decrees. That's the other word for it. Are you getting my point? It's a legislative function. The executive should raise an executive bill, go through the National Assembly, turn those orders into law. Now, if you look at our democratic experience, there has been conflict between the executive and the judiciary. And it's a result of conflict of interest, one overriding others' function and the other overriding. And this is where the courts need to come in. This is where we need independent judiciary, vibrant and active judiciary, to interpret and to tell everybody this is where your border is, this is where your border stops. So that, and they are overlapping.
Thank you very much. As you know, Dr. Johnson,
they are overlapping. The overlapping
between local government, states,
there are overlapping functions that must be taken into consideration. Then coming to the people, are we ready for democracy? You see, people talk about legislator collecting money. I want you to go and do a sample survey of the lifestyle of an average legislator, of an average senator. If everybody invites them to one association or the other to come and be the chairman, if he comes to your event, he doesn't give you money, you call him. So our society, until the people expect not to collect money from an average elected officer, we will not get there. We are talking about this year. Okay. We'll talk it next year. We'll talk it that kingdom come.
Indeed, that is one point. But the whole matter of the constituency project, which is a project that is suggested, initiated by the legislator for inclusion in the budget. This is another area where it is felt that the legislator that has been elected, one of the, he's overstepping his bounds, although within the law, unfortunately, the way it is. He probably is saying that he's the closest person to the grassroots, and he knows the people. That's not factually correct. He can't really know the place better than the councillor chairman, the local government council chairman, for instance. But we have these things that have been put in there. He is not doing it out of the goodness of his heart. He is doing it to show evidence of, I've not been just talking grammar over there. I've brought some actual development. So now that I need re-election, those of us that have been working for the advancement of the place we came from. So there's that aspect of it as well. And it's not, by the way, as you know, it's not new. It goes back to this whole pork barrel, as they refer to it in the US. That's what the same thing is all about. So that's where we import this whole thing for. There are those who have criticized us for, we have criticized ourselves for importing lock, stock, and barrel everything from America without putting our own particular wooden call to it. So this is part of the problem. Ekweremadu says the whole bunch of unemployed and poverty-stricken people that have collected 1,500 from somewhere. But those who are protesting are saying, among the kind of things that Dr. Johnson has been enumerating, that there are subtleties here that we need to address.
Yeah, you are right. If you look at it very well, most of the things we have here in our climb, most of the ideas and the theories that is being exported
I
from
beg
the
your pardon for
Western.
interrupting you. Aliu has called in from Adamawa to join this conversation. Good morning, Aliu.
Good morning, how are you?
Okay, go ahead, please. Thank you very much for calling in.
I'm calling to say something about it. Your conversation. You people are saying about scrapping this. Hello?
Aliu, we can hear you. Carry on, please.
As we are talking about this constituency, this project, we are giving all our contribution that this constituency project should not be given to the senators. Any legislator. The constituency should be given to the companies directly from the federal government so that the thing will be executed in the constituency. Because all these things that these people are saying, constituency, federal constituency, we don't used to see anything in our area.
All right.
Like now we are talking about Adamawa in particular. These are my zone, southern senatorial zone. And all the time they used to say, this road from Numan, Mario Belwa has been given, from Gurore to Mayo has been given, but up till that nothing has been done.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Aliu, for calling in. There's a delay which is natural. It's a satellite delay. I think I just need to say it again before you resume. These projects are indeed awarded is the correct word, by the executive. Of course, it is in the interest of the initiating legislator to have oversight function. So that's the way it looks on paper. But there are those who say there is influence into who actually gets and agreements, allegations that we can't prove. But people know what they're talking about.
Yes, of course. There are so many things that are, out there that, of course, we can't prove, but we know it does.
So Aliu says, I don't see anything, and he thinks the solution to the matter is for these constituency projects, as they are called, to be given directly from the executive to the guys who get the contract. But that is pretty much the way it is right now.
Yes, of course. No. That is not the way it is now. Because
but he thinks he thinks the executive hands over to the legislator, and then the legislator gets it. But that's not the way it is.
No, the lawmakers have influence.
Okay.
In the entire process.
Yes.
So that is the reason why they are fighting tooth and nail, to probably get involved, in the entire. That is the fact. So let me now return to what I was saying earlier on concerning adaptation.
I'm afraid I'm going to interrupt you for the second time, but I won't do it a third time.
Right.
Let me quickly bring in Yakub. Good morning, Yakub. Well, please continue.
Now, talking about adaptations of, theories, initiative from Western Hemisphere into, our system here, we need to consider the socio-cultural peculiarity of our terrain. Why bringing all those things? Because if you look at it very well, over there in the U.S., if you are talking about constituency allowance or project or what have you, it is quite difficult for a lawmaker or anybody in the entire process to probably subvert the will of the people or dip his hand into the cookie jar.
It's not as if they're a nation of angels, though.
No.
True, they have a city called Los Angeles.
Yes, of course, I know. But what I'm saying is that it will be like a camel going through the eye of a needle.
Okay.
It is not impossible.
Okay.
But it is quite difficult because they have strong institutions and structures.
All right.
But we don't have that here.
And that is the weakness of what we are doing.
Exactly. So when we are talking about routing this constituency project, I think the best institution for us to go through is the local government.
Indeed. One moment, please. Mr. Omor, good morning. Omor, Surulere, good morning.
How you doing?
Thank you very much for calling in. Go ahead, please.
All right. Thank you for taking me in. I've been trying this number for the past 3-4 weeks, and I'm kind of going to be a little bit off your program today. And first of all, I want to thank you.
We don't like off topic, we don't like off topic, Mr. Omor.
I know. I just want to thank you for what you did at the Duelegba Bridge. because when I called in and said there was a parking lot,
Okay.
then the following week, all the what do you call it, all the trailers were moved out of there.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
Down 4 weeks, that incident, if it had happened at Ugwuelegba Bridge, it would have been a disaster at that Ugwuelegba. And the problem I'm having right now is that the trailer drivers,
Oh,
you know,
Mr. Moore, I beg your pardon.
Yes.
We can't really go into this because you're breaking our flow. You're breaking our flow. Unless you want to talk about this constituency project conversation.
Right. Okay. With the constituency and all what you got going on right now, you see, the bottom line is there is no transparency in what the government is doing with the funds, how they are doing the project, you know, what they're doing with the money, and even what their salaries are. You can call Trump today and find out how much he's making. But in the Nigerian system, you can't even find out what your local government is making, and you can't even have any valuable project going on in any state. So I think we need kind of like somebody, a whistleblower segment that comes in to meet the masses and tell them, okay, what is the local government doing for you in the local government? You know, so that if they have this segment on TV, the real people that are voting, you know, will bring all about this transparency that for the first 4 years this guy has been in office, he has really not done anything. That brings about the transparency.
Okay.
That brings about the people.
So are you saying that it should be reformed rather than being, you know, scrapped, as some are advocating?
Yes. Right, because we need a segment on TV that goes straight to the public people. Those are the people that vote. Those are the people that tell us what is your problem. What has this guy done for you for 4 years?
Okay.
Why is he there? In the 4 years in Shomolu, what has he done? In the 4 years in Surulere, what has your local government been able to achieve for you?
Okay.
They have all street lights.
On the one hand, okay, but it's not the local government now. But thank you very much for calling in. It's the legislature, the representative or senator. But I can apply the logic.
Uncle Yori,
yeah.
If you invite a senator in America to come and give a lecture, what would the student of a school expect from the senator? To sign an autograph at the end of to take pictures with the senator. If you invite a senator to a school in Nigeria today, what will the people expect from the senator? Would they want our society is not ready? Because if the senator does not give them money, he has not performed. And that's the problem. You see, we talk about this issue. There are deeper societal issues because you talk about us importing ideas from abroad, you know, and they're not looking at the socio-cultural context. The socio-cultural context is the kind of senator you have, is the kind of society you have. If people don't expect money, monetary gratification from senator, but they expect the senator to defend their interests, to bring projects that have meaningful impact on their life, then the society will change until we change that.
You appear to be implying that, so the monies that we expect from our legislators, they have to source it from somewhere.
Exactly, that's the issue.
They have to source it from somewhere.
Okay. And if you know the pressure, I'm telling you, if you know the pressure, on an average legislator, if you know the pressure,
and you know, and he
not talking it on paper on TV. If you go to the grassroots and you know the pressure,
and he's not going to be a Ganifawe and say that sorry. My blood, sorrow, and tears. Blood, sweat, and tears. I've give you my money. Forget it. I'm working on your behalf. One moment, Yakub. Good morning, sir.
Sorry, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
And then good morning to your guests in the studio. Sorry, you see, for me, the constituency project that we are talking about. The first question is that, does he know the law? That's the first question. The second question is this. Who followed the project for the House of Representatives and the Senate as case may be? Who is the people followed the project that's going to go in individual constituencies? That is number one. Number two, when the executive send the budget to them, and then they sit down and then they change uncertainty in that budget, who followed as I had earlier? Nobody. And then even though you said you want to do constituency project for us, did you ever come to your constituency to tell us that this is what you want to do? Secretly, the question is this. You see, when they are campaigning to us, I don't know the responsibility of somebody that wants to become a senator or House of Representative, as case may be, to tell the citizen of his own constituency that when I go in, I will do borrow, I will build school. You are not going to Abuja or wherever to go and telling us that I want to build the road, because it is not your primary responsibility to build the road.
Yakub, I understand you, sir. I understand you, but perhaps you'll agree, Yakub, that on campaign trails, politicians, probably don't, they are perfectly logical at their own peril. Whereas what you have said is indeed true. If there is no benefit whatsoever coming back to the electorate, it has been found in countries beyond our own that they're not interested anymore. It takes a great guy to be able to sustain himself on his own national reputation without anything returning to the place that sent him there in the first place. That's the problem.
I quite agree what you are saying, sir. But with your respect, let me ask you this. If a senator or House of Representative are telling us that, what is the primary responsibility of the councillor of the place and then the chairman, as case may be? The chairman of the local government, this is not the word that chairman of the local government ought to do, or the councillor coming from that locality. It is not a responsibility of a senator or House of Rights.
I agree with you, Yakub. I got to let go of you. Thank you very much. I got to let go of you. Yakub, sorry, I beg your pardon. Because of time, I got to let go of you. I agree with you, but as I was saying, these things hardly fall into neatly logical compartments. That's part of the problem that we have. We mentioned that.
Of course.
It's highly debatable whether the legislator, he knows the ground more than the local council chairman. But because of problems between even the local council chairman and the state itself, Lara.
Okay.
There are problems.
Yes, of course, Mr. Yuri. I want to respond to what Mr. Johnson said
Dr.
earlier.
Johnson, yeah.
We can't say because our people expect something from the lawmakers and use that as an alibi for corruption or for them to no.
You see, we have to source it from somewhere.
Of course,
they don't want to put their hands into that.
I am not saying that. I'm only giving you a context.
We didn't say
you must provide a context to the discourse. I'm giving you the context to the issue we have.
Of course, because we know they earn 13.5 million, per month.
How much does the governor earn?
Those are
how much does the president earn? How much does the DG of NIMASA earn?
Exactly.
How much does the chairman? I can tell you 5,000 agencies of the executive that earns more money than the legislature.
Question: Are we ready to do democracy or not?
We are not ready.
This is the whole point.
That's my context.
Our own definition of democracy, he has said it. It might not please us. Among the highly required components is that when you go to there, you are supposed to pass things around.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, in this locale, if that isn't done, people are looking at co-perform now.
And even we are talking about local government, in 1999 Constitution does not have any recognition for the local government. I can give you an example of my own federal constituency. I can name 1999 to 2007. Honorable Onimole of blessed memory, dead. 2007 to 2011. Honorable Adefolabi of blessed memory died in Mecca. Now, 2011 to 2015, as of rep member, 2011 to 2015, I can't recall his name because he was imported from Ikeja local government to my constituency. Now, 2015 to 2000, Honorable Ja of blessed memory. Now it's Akinwumi that is there. I can tell you because I knew this individual, and I can tell you how much each and every, and they expect, you need to go to their houses. So I know what I'm talking about. I'm not a TV analyst. I'm a grassroots person. So I know what goes on, the expectation. We are not ready for democracy. We are only practicing civilian. If you are ready for democracy, you won't spend 100 million, 200 million to get a House of Rep ticket. You won't spend. You won't spend 1 billion to get a House of Rep ticket.
Because
you
in all probability
on the
you
basis
borrowed
of your
it.
integrity.
You borrowed it, and you're going to have to repay it. And perhaps, all of this is, I bring back Senator Kuremadu's comment, in the House on the day, that these are jobless people. Now, that was his own personal opinion.
But he was irresponsible.
But that was his own personal
to describe
opinion.
Nigerians as a Senate president.
That it was a mixture of unemployment and poverty.
It's a direct indictment.
And that these people didn't want to protest, but they were sent there by those who have something against the National Assembly. That was his bottom line.
He's only indicting the political class of their failure to actually, provide a productive engagement for these young folks. There is no doubt about the fact that people are often hired, to do things and all that. But what we are going to look at, it is allowed in democracy. You can mobilize, you can galvanize, for you to demonstrate peacefully, in support or otherwise
indeed. So,
of any...
But just looking at what the protest, the conversation that it brought back to the surface again, which has been ongoing for quite a while, simply because it's been unsatisfactory, the question probably is, do we work at fixing it because it's very inefficient? It's working very, very inefficient. If it's an engine, it's a very inefficient engine right now. Too many loopholes, which goes back to the whole matter of corruption that Dr. Johnson started with, although he looked at security vote. These are leakages if they are not well handled. Is there an interest to close all the leakages and make them as transparent and accountable as possible? Are the honorable members and distinguished senators, are they interested in that particular line of engagement? I don't know.
Well, if you look at it very well...
Which goes back to whether we're ready for real democracy.
Of course. If you look at it, we have to talk about citizens' engagement. Because in the entire... That is the fulcrum of democracy itself. The citizens themselves must be interested in what is going on in their localities.
So how much are we willing to take? And when are we going to say, we're not taking this anymore? That's part of what you're talking about.
That is exactly that should be the conversation that should be on, especially being championed by the CSO, the civil society organization, that, wait a minute, we need to mobilize and galvanize our people at the grassroots. So if now we have organizations, social entrepreneurs who are getting out all these figures, the budget, what is being allocated for each constituency and all that.
But Dr. Johnson's point that the guy who elected member is coming back home to speak to and engage with is interested in just one thing. If you have an agenda, he's just scanning it and looking for the one that is concerning him, and I don't want to say what it is.
Yes, of course.
He's going to that particular one. There's someone calling in from the UK. Good morning. Do I have a call from the UK? No? Chris? Is it Chris in the UK?
Hello. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Chris. Thank you for calling in.
And my brothers and the...
Good morning, sir. Please go ahead.
Yes, watching the programs from afar, the major problem we have with Nigeria's situation is like a proverb that a structure or building built on a good sound definitely cannot stand. Nigerian problem, or our problem in Nigeria, is that our structures is built on a quick sound, foundations of lies and all that. The easiest way to go with Nigerian structure, according to what my brother was saying, the doctor wearing blue, he said that the pressure on the legislators is enormous. I have a cousin who formerly was in the House of Rep. Anytime he comes to Ondo State, his local government, he needs to sit his house on weekends. Swimming with people, and everybody, all these guys expecting something from him.
Not that they came to listen to a speech.
Sorry?
Not that they came to listen to a speech on how to develop Nigeria.
Yeah, that's what they speak. But what I'm trying to say is that our people need to be educated as well. Anyway, I don't want to debate too much. The reason why I'm calling the most important thing we do for us to empower the local government.
Okay.
We need to empower the local government. That's the best way to go.
That's the bottom line.
Do away with all this presidential system. It's costing too much money.
Yes.
Let's, like the way we do it in Britain, we should emulate and go back to the 1960s, whereby we were practicing, what they call it, a parliamentary system of government. That will save us a lot of money, and to me, that's the only way to go. Parliamentary system of government is the only way to go.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Chris, for calling in from the UK. Really, that's the bottom line. The local government is, but that's not a new, debate. Even the state is thought to varying degrees across the country is busy emasculating the local
Exactly,
government.
that is the
You know,
fact.
You know, these are part
As
of
well as emasculating the State House of Assemblies.
Of course, because if you look at it, Uncle Yori, very
So,
well,
what manner of democracy is
We
this?
have civilian.
Yet everybody is smiling. Everybody is
Yes,
smiling, and we come
every-
out when the election, what do they call them, rallies come about.
And-
No mention of this is made.
of course. Well, if you look at it very well, you know, you have the local government allocation that is coming from, you know, federation account every month. We have JAC, you know, joint account or what have you. So in terms of financial autonomy and even some other ramification of autonomy for this local government is not there. It is in this same country that a local government built the iconic city hall
Yes.
on Lagos Island.
Yes, yes.
So in this same country, there was a time that local government were tying roads, not patching, not what have you. In this same country, there was a time that local government was even managing refuse.
1999 to 2003,
All right.
Adefolabi built Kudirat Abiola Estate on Bola Ahmed Tinubu Way, Iju. An estate is there. It was a local government that built it.
So there are so many things.
What is it that there were more democratically, truly democratically inclined administrations in those times who wanted to respect the separations?
No, Uncle Yori, if you look at it very well, local government is a very formidable integral of the political structure of
That was the
of
first
state.
time and the last time anywhere in Nigeria that the people were allowed to freely choose their local government chairman. And I started because it was the first election. The election was held in December 1998.
Yes.
That was the first and the last time
Okay.
that local government, the local people were allowed to choose their representative. And go and look at the projects within this said period. Do a comparative analysis after now for us to know that we need to go back to the basics of giving power back to the local government.
Local
Okay,
government, well, there are
we've
so many
completely run
things.
out of time on this particular segment of it. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I want to thank you very much, Mr. Enito Lukotun, journalist and political affairs analyst. As always, Dr. Johnson,
It's a
Dr.
pleasure.
Billy Johnson,
It's a pleasure
Deputy
to share
Provost,
the-
NIG.
You're welcome.
Indeed. So stay with us, please. We'll take a break, come back, and we will look at a different subject. Okay, welcome back. And, you know, the election season is very, very much in the air. Ekiti in particular, Saturday after tomorrow is going to be the D-Day. And I have one of the candidates here who will be governor in Ekiti if the electorate is in agreement. He is 44-year-old Akinloye Oladele Ayegbusi, who is the SDP governorship candidate in Ekiti State. You're very welcome to the program, Mr. Ayegbusi.
Thank you for having me.
Indeed. You're a banker,
Yeah.
and you were so. You continued in that profession until very, very recently.
Yeah.
In fact, I was surprised to hear that when I was, chatting with you before coming on, when did you first have an interest in politics? And you surprised me by saying
This year.
this year in April, and here you are. You would be governor. Why do you think you have a chance, especially as there are so many veterans in the field? Why do you think you have a realistic chance?
And because we have a focus, we mean well for the people. I want to give power back to the people as much as possible. For a very long time, we have people that there are no role models.
Okay.
We want to give people something to look up to. We want to give people hope and to continue to believe in themselves.
Are you not feeling a bit intimidated by the field? As I said, the biggest thing is that all the, not all, because that is the good thing. There's a lot of fresh blood coming into the Ekiti, Ekiti dynamics. But many of them have been in politics for a decade, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and would now be governor. In particular, take for instance, you don't think it's a too formidable field to take on, which is a good thing. So I'm not going to concentrate on that. I'm going to concentrate on what you think you can do for the Ekiti people that is different and will be better done than those who we have seen before.
With the human capital capacity that I see in Ekiti and the level of poverty that I see in Ekiti, there is no correlation. So that is to say the managers all this while have really mismanaged the system.
Okay.
And
have you been observing this? Because you said you only
I've
took
been,
serious interest in it from April.
Yeah.
Are you just looking at it from the April when you took an interest in it, or have you kept an eye on goings on in your native Ekiti state?
I've kept an eye on what's been going on.
Okay.
But that April now really, I went deep into it and I saw how bad things have really gotten.
Okay.
And I just said to myself, we cannot continue like this. And that there must be a paradigm shift. And like I've said to so many people, even elders, obas and all that, on several occasions, that if we continue like this, we're actually sitting on a time bomb that will consume us. When you have a certain level of literacy and joblessness and poverty, the correlation is just too, I mean.
Because I don't have all the time that I would like to spend with you, I don't know, in lieu of asking you what your whole manifesto is going to be like, what would be your top 3 priorities that you would sell to the people of Ekiti and that you would work on? Just 3 of them. I imagine there have to be more if a person is going to be governor, or perhaps...
Yeah, I'll talk about 3.
Okay.
Agriculturally, Ekiti is endowed. So we want to bring agro-allied industry to Ekiti and grow employment for the youth. We need to take the youth out of the streets. Unfortunately, or fortunately for us, they constitute over 75% of the population of the state, and they're jobless. It's risky, it's dangerous. So if we use all we have to get what we want, it will really help us. That is harnessing our resources. That is agriculture is what we have. That's what God has given to us. And if you even look at the hilly side, of course, because of the hills, you can't have railway, but we can have a bit of, we can have cargo plane and all that. So we need to improve on our infrastructure. Okay, basically what we want to do agriculture. We want to, as much as possible, use agriculture to generate our IGR. The IGR is very low as it is. And I want to de-emphasize...
internally generated revenue.
Yes, that's IGR, yes, internally generated.
Ekiti people don't like paying taxes.
No, we're not talking about taxes, but, you know,
when
business activity picks up,
okay,
naturally you pay something. And the example I've always been given that I would say, we have Igbimo Rice there. If we get investors to invest in Igbimo Rice and we sell Igbimo Rice to Lagos here that has 25 million population, if Lagosians kindly enough eat minimum of 200 naira worth of Igbimo Rice in a month.
Okay.
I mean, with serious advertisement from people like you,
so
200 naira worth of Igbimo Rice, because Igbimo Rice happens to be the best rice we have in the world. It's brown rice. It's more nutritious than the parboiled rice and all these ones that we eat all over the place.
Okay, so that's going to be the leading edge?
Yeah, it's going to be one of the leading products that we're going to work on. So that's 5 billion naira that will be coming to Ekiti on a monthly basis. We won't be having people stranded. We won't be having people living below poverty line. It's very sad.
Okay.
It's very disheartening.
Okay. That's agriculture on one hand.
On agriculture.
On agriculture.
On one hand. Then, companies for employment. We need to attract as many companies, industries to Ekiti to come and use our products. Like we have around that Ilawe, Axis and all that, we have banana, we have plantain and all that. So we need to get companies that will use that as their product.
Okay,
to
this
produce.
is still agriculture based.
Yes,
so
no,
really,
everything is, most things are going to be agriculture based.
Most things are going to be agriculture based.
Yeah.
Now, you're speaking very much like the banker that you are.
Yeah.
You know, administration, organization, clear thinking, all of that is fine. How about the murky area of politics? Because there's also, sometimes you hear that a person is a wonderful administrator, but he also needs to be a bloody good politician as well. The lack of political experience, does it concern you very much?
Within the last, I've learned so much.
Okay.
And working in a boardroom, working in a at a management level.
Okay. Yeah.
Even in banking, you learn so much.
But is there very much politics?
Every human being is a political animal.
Okay.
You know, there's politics, a bit of politics in the bank.
There's office politics as well.
But you see, the peculiarity of a banker being an administrator is that he who manages money manages all. You know, you sit down and people come and tell you about their businesses, even businesses you don't know anything about. So you seem to know something about almost everything. It exposes you to so many things. I can tell you about the kind of profit you make when you even deal on a particular agricultural product, when you deal on a particular agricultural product, you know. But what we will want to specialize in Ekiti, that we want to activate demand. I mean, want to activate supply.
Oh, okay, supply.
We'll create demand by bringing back the Awolowo model of buying everything that farmers produce. Yeah. You know, when they produce, we buy from them. Yeah. So it is us to market. So because of that, people will go back because realizing that, oh, if I have this cocoa, I'm sure that I'm going to get money for it almost immediately. So they will go back and do cocoa. And if we give them the good seedlings now that we have around, they are more productive, they are more the lifespan of growth is shorter. I think they will do more. And when we buy from them, and we process the exportation and every other thing through the companies in Nigeria here directly, government to those companies, I think the farmers will do well.
Any locale, any electorate, and in particular, the one that concerns you is the people of Ekiti. Yeah. They need to vote for you. Yeah. When you make your pitch to them, they're going to be assessing you, evaluating you. No man is an island, and any politician such as yourself requires a team. Yeah, requires a team. I'm asking, in effect, of course, you are of the SDP, Social Democratic Party, right? Godfathers and that kind of thing. How important is it to your concept of being able to succeed? You know, the teammates, the kind of people that you will need, because you will just be leading a team of people who also have the interest of Ekiti at hand. Yeah. What's your team like?
I have people I respect, but I don't have Godfather.
Okay.
I have people I respect so much, but I don't have Godfather, to the extent that, you know, we have party leaders in SDP. We have people like Professor Adeniro. We have Shehu Gabams. We have Chief Olufalaye. Okay. We have, I mean, numbers of them.
Yes,
there are people I look up to.
These are national leaders.
Yes.
But your particular team that you have selected, these elders, no doubt, they are seeing all these things. But your team, but wait a minute, let me bring in Mr. Olaya, who's calling in from the UK. Good morning, Mr. Olaya.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, quickly, go ahead, please. Do you have a question or comment for Mr. Ayebusi?
Yeah, good morning, sir. I just want to encourage him that...
we can hear you.
I have a comment and I have a question as well. Number one, I just want to encourage now that they allow the youth to participate more in Nigerian politics. And then, I want to ask you in the area of exposure, you know, when it comes to exposure in politics, that's not how you want to govern or manage your people without you being exposed to the Western world. And in the area of education and health, what is their party is trying to offer the people of the city?
Okay, thank you very much. If I understood him properly, you told us from the beginning that actually you've just been a banker working in the bank and boardrooms and that kind of a thing. But he was also, I think, saying what your ideas are in the area of health, education for the people of Ekiti.
Well, for education, we've told the electorate that manifesto of the party, and which we're going to execute in Ekiti, says that primary school to secondary school, even to WAEC level, it's free. And we'll do, for teachers, and you'll be wondering how we're going to generate that kind of money in that kind of environment. We will generate. I was an investment banker, so I know what it means to turn money around to make money. So we will generate money to do that. Then we have programs for the aged parents, old people from 60 years old, free medical care, and then this stipend, payment of stipend to the aged. Then in the health sector, we'll bring based on population of a particular area, we make sure that we have healthcare services everywhere. And personally, or rather, still on the party and for the electorate, we want to really activate this Catholic mission. A lot of them. You know, we have these doctors without border.
Yeah.
So that at any point in time, we will have them in all these hospitals visiting.
Okay. One moment, please. David Ngbagada wants to contribute to this conversation. Good morning, David.
Good morning, sir.
Please.
Good morning, Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much for your participation in trying to get to the executive seat of Ekiti State. But my question is, I would just like to ask, what is your own take on education?
Okay.
As in terms of, because you said about 75% of the youth are on the streets and all that. So my own take is, what do you plan to do regarding with regards to education? Because to me, education is the best thing that will take youth out of the streets and empower them in the long run.
Thank you for calling in. You know, actually, you had begun to answer that.
Yeah.
You know, but you know,
let me answer it again. Education is not a problem in Ekiti. Almost everybody is educated. If you drive Okada for 5 minutes and you engage the guy, you see how intelligent and how sound he is. But manpower, empowerment is actually the problem. So we institutionalize empowerment, not empowerment of bringing people to rallies to pay them 1,000 naira. That is not empowerment. I mean institutionalized empowerment. Okay. If you youth now, you form an association and we give you money, you want to go into ICT, you go into ICT, you want to go into farming, you go into farming. One of the things I've always been telling the electorate, I said, okay, we Ekiti people, you know, we are good, jolly good fellows, we like outing and all that, we drink, and there's no brewery in Ekiti. We have the brewery we have it in Osun State, that's in Ilesha. So I said to them, we will ask that brewery company, so what advantage are we enjoying from drinking your product?
And as you said, you are an investment bank, so you know about all of this.
Yeah. So we have to ask them is it the corn that we'll be planting for you and selling to you? But there must be something
there must be some nexus for you.
Yeah.
Oladipupo in Ilesha, good morning. Good morning. Oladipupo in Ilesha, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, sir.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead. Question or comment for Mr. Yebusi?
All right. I want to commend him for what he's doing now and for coming out to come and contest for the governorship election in Ekiti. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I want to ask you, what program does he have, especially in the area of education in Ekiti State?
All right, thank you very much for calling in. Appreciate your call. Continue to answer because he's been speaking about that particular area in the past 5 minutes or so. Yeah. So thank you very much for the question. It seems like
it's
the people of Ekiti, they take education very, very seriously.
Fountain of knowledge. That's
fountain of knowledge. So it's like these people don't want that fountain to
go down.
You know, they don't want it to go down at all.
Yeah. So what we want to do for education, we want to train our people to make that education beneficial to them, as in specialize in some certain kind of training, getting the teachers training the teachers more and more and more and more. And the education now, you know, you see somebody in Ekiti tell you that he's a graduate, and what did you, what was your specialization? You say, I read education, Yoruba education, I read it. So we want them to be more specialized.
You want to look at the curriculum?
And, curriculum. Yeah, like we have in Abeokuta. Abeokuta curriculum is more entrepreneurially inclined. So we want to bring that kind of education to Ekiti so that people now think about education and business together. And if I would say it in Yoruba Palace that says that so not just about going to school, no, but about getting the best out of that education. You know, we are one of the best human capital supply nationwide. You know, so we want to get them into the best places. And
I've run out of time, but let me quickly squeeze in. Okay. You cannot judge a book by its cover. Here you are sitting in front of me here. You already have anything from, is it 10 to 50 billion that they say is required for you to become governor in Nigeria?
Well, we don't have that kind of money, but we have people.
Okay.
We have the electorate. We speak to them. They listen to us.
You have ideas.
We have ideas.
And you're going to sell those ideas.
And we will sell the ideas, and they will listen to us because they know the difference between us and all the money bags and all the federal mics.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Akinloye Oladile Ayegbusi, SDP governorship candidate in Ekiti State. My pleasure that you could come. Wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so that's our program. All that's left now is for me to just wish you a happy weekend. We'll see tomorrow, God willing. No, I beg your pardon. Monday morning, we don't do weekends. I'm Yori Folari. Have a great weekend.